regular meeting of the Minneapolis Canvassing Board will now begin.
Good morning. My name is Jeremiah Ellison, and I'm the chair of the Minneapolis Canvassing Board. I'm going to call to order this meeting for Friday, November 12th. Before we proceed, I'll note that we have remote participation by council members and city staff as authorized under the provisions of the Minnesota Open Meeting Law, Section 13D.021, due to the declared state of local public health emergency. The city will be recording and posting this meeting to the city's website and YouTube channel as a means of increasing public access and transparency. This meeting is public and subject to the Minnesota Open Meeting Law. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll to verify the presence of a quorum.
Board Member Reich. Gordon.
Here.
Fletcher.
Here.
Cunningham.
Present.
Osman.
Here.
Goodman.
Present.
Jenkins. Cano. Bender.
Here. Here.
Thank you. Bender.
Here.
Schrader.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Palmisano.
Present.
Board Member Reich. Jenkins. Chair Ellison.
Present.
There are 11 members present.
Let the record reflect we have a quorum. Colleagues, we're here in our capacity as the city's canvassing board in order to canvass the returns from the 2021 municipal election and the 3 ballot questions proposing amendments to the city charter, which were referred to the voters at this year's general election. I will first entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Great. That carries. That has been seconded, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll on that motion.
Board Member Reich. Gordon.
Aye.
Fletcher.
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Jenkins. Cano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Schrader.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Chair Ellison.
Aye.
There are 11 ayes.
That carries, and the agenda is adopted. Here to present the staff report to us is our city clerk, Casey Carl. Mr. Carl, please take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as you mentioned to the members of the Canvassing Board, today's meeting is for the purpose of canvassing the returns from the 2021 general municipal election and to certify those results as final and official. In summary, a total of 145,337 ballots were cast in this year's election. Minneapolis has a total of 268,929 registered voters. Thus, the raw turnout percentage against the number of registered voters shows that the city achieved a turnout of 54% this year. However, when we calculate turnout against the city's potential eligible voter population, it decreases slightly to a participation rate of 46%. Still, for an off-year municipal-only election, these results are incredible and reflect a highly engaged, civic-minded community, one that cares passionately about the city and is participating at rates that are more than double the national average for municipal elections. As usual, the majority of voters opted to cast their ballots on election day at their assigned precinct. Election day ballots accounted for roughly 80% of the total ballots cast, with about 20% of voters taking advantage of the multiple methods of absentee voting in order to participate in this year's election. Early voting continues to gain in popularity each year, and that was true again in 2021. In fact, we saw a new record for early participation in a municipal election this year. We also set a new record for overall turnout in a municipal election this year, the highest in at least 45 years. The complete returns from this year's election are included in your briefing material. You can find results provided for each ward, as well as the citywide totals for the number of registered voters, the number of ballots that were cast, the number of ballots cast during the 46-day absentee ballot period, and those that were cast on election day. On pages 12 through 21 of your briefing materials, you'll find the total votes that were cast in each of the 3 choice rankings for each candidate in each race on the ballots. These are the raw numbers that were reported through the Secretary of State's website on election night. Then from page 22 through to page 202, you'll find the turnout by ward and precinct and the vote totals for the 3 ballot questions. And then for each race, with each candidate identified and the vote totals that were provided. On pages 203 through 224, you'll find the ranked choice voting data analysis sheets for each of the contests on the ballot. The summary results data have been provided from the Elections and Voter Services website found at vote.minneapolismn.gov. Following certification today of these results as final, staff will then be posting all of the raw data files for each of the contests on the ballot, as we've done in prior RCV municipal elections. This full level of transparency is important to ensure our residents can see that the results were correctly tabulated. For the record, I'll read the final results for each of the ballot contests. For the citywide races, the winners were as follows. For Mayor, Jacob Fry. For Board of Estimate and Taxation, Steve Brandt and Samantha Sam Pre-Stenson. For Park Board at Large, Meg Forney, Tom Olson, and Alicia D. Smith. For the 3 ballot questions posing amendments to the city charter, question 1, government structure, passed. Question number 2, public safety department, failed. Question number 3, rent stabilization, passed. For the ward and district races, the winners are as follows. For City Council, Ward 1, Elliott Payne. Ward 2, Robin Wansley Warloba. Ward 3, Michael Rainville. Ward 4, Latricia Vita. Ward 5, Jeremiah Ellison. Ward 6, Jamal Osman. Ward 7, Lisa Goodman. Ward 8, Andrea Jenkins. Ward 9, Jasa Chavez. Ward 10, Aisha Shuktai. Ward 11, Emily Koski. Ward 12, Andrew Johnson. Ward 13, Lene Palmisano. For the Park and Recreation Board of Commissioners by District, District 1, Billy Menz. District 2, Becca Thompson. District 3, Becky Alper. District 4, Elizabeth Schaefer. District 5, Stephanie Music. District 6, Cassidy Ebeni. Again, this election cycle, Elections and Voter Services also commissioned a post-election survey of candidates, voters, and election judges to evaluate perceptions and experiences using ranked choice voting. As this body is aware, this is the 5th election administered in Minneapolis using ranked choice voting. It's the 4th general election, in addition to the special RCV election in Ward 6 last year. Each year, our survey results have shown an increasing acceptance and appreciation for this alternative voting methodology. We are excited to be able to have the survey again this year in order to continue providing those baseline comparisons. I'd like to now recognize Aaron Grossman for a brief report on our tabulation processes this year. Mr. Grossman is one of our team of professional election administrators and is the lead in-house RCV expert. This year, we experimented with new technology that we believe has the ability to push Minneapolis forward in terms of its next evolution in RCV elections, using a universal tabulator produced by the Ranked Choice Voting Resource Center. So, Mr. Grossman, I'll turn the floor to you.
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Carl and members of the Canvassing Board. We were excited to incorporate the Ranked Choice Voting Universal Tabulator tool as a quality check step in our ranked choice voting tabulation process this year. This open source automated software can tabulate ranked choice voting election results using the same data file that we use for our current tabulation process. The key difference, however, is that the universal tabulator can generate results in seconds rather than the hours that the process currently takes. I'm happy to report that we successfully used the universal tabulator to confirm the accuracy of our ranked choice voting tabulation and the outcomes in the races that you are reviewing this morning. We'll be working on a more detailed analysis of the tool as part of our post-election work, but we're encouraged by this first experience with incorporating the tool into our procedures. Looking ahead, we see this as an opportunity to increase both the transparency and efficiency of determining results in municipal elections. In part because there are no state guidelines on administering ranked choice voting elections and therefore no voting system certification standards, we are currently unable to adopt this or any automated system as the primary tabulation method for our municipal elections. However, we, along with the 4 other Minnesota jurisdictions who currently use ranked choice voting, are eager to work toward achieving the necessary legislative changes to fully implement an automated tabulation system for future ranked choice voting elections. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grossman. So as he indicated, significant progress has been made and continues to be made in terms of standardizing ranked choice voting as a voting methodology, with which an increasing number of jurisdictions across the nation are choosing to implement. So Minneapolis, as you all know, has been at the forefront of those efforts. And we are excited that we were able to use this universal tabulator this year to demonstrate its effectiveness and its accuracy in automatically tabulating RCV results. We believe, as Mr. Grossman said, that there is considerable potential for that system in future election years. At this point, Mr. Chair, I will present then the total results as they've been reported, as they're contained in your briefing materials, together with the draft order, which is also before you, which would certify these results as official in the races and questions that were part of the 2021 municipal general election. The canvassing board, based on a majority of its members, may adopt that order. Then following this meeting, we will circulate the order for signatures by each member voting for its adoption.
Great. All right, so thank you, Mr. Carl. Before I put forward a motion, I'll see if there are any questions for staff about the canvas results from my colleagues. I'm not seeing anyone in the queue. I'll give it 10 more seconds or so. All right. Well, with that, I will move to adopt the order that certifies as official the canvas returns from the 2021 general election ballot and the 3 municipal questions, and direct the clerk to make the filings of those official results as required by law, all as reflected in the staff reports. The clerk will now call the roll on that motion.
Board Member Reich.
Aye.
Gordon.
Aye.
Fletcher.
Aye.
Cunningham.
Aye.
Osman.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
Jenkins. Cano.
Aye.
Bender.
Aye.
Schrader.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Palmisano.
Aye.
Chair Ellison.
Aye.
There are 12 ayes.
That carries, and that order has been adopted. And I see that Mr. Carl has hopped in the queue to address a few other items. So please, Mr. Carl.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There are 2 final items of business to announce at this meeting. First, I would like to acknowledge that we have received preliminary notice of a potential request to recount the results that have been certified now in the Ward 2 City Council race. Accordingly, the Elections and Voter Services team will be organizing itself to conduct that physical recount of the ballots in the Ward 2 race next week. More details about that recount will be provided as they have been finalized and verified. But at this point, I wanted to put on the record in public that we have acknowledged a preliminary request for a recount. Public notice of the date, time, and location will be issued as required by law once the details have been confirmed, and we expect that to happen shortly. Second, we do need to draw precincts to be included in our post-election review as required by our ordinance. I have Kate Redden and Charles Peel with me here in the chamber from our elections team to handle the random drawing. So I will ask them to first draw the 2 single-seat precincts that will be reviewed as part of our post-election review this year. And I'll pause while they conduct that drawing. So the first ward and precinct that will be included is Ward 7, Precinct 3. And the second, I just have one. The second precinct that we'll be counting in the post-election review is Ward 12, Precinct 10. So for the single seats, we will count Ward 7, Precinct 3 and Ward 12, Precinct 10. We'll now draw for the multi-seat precincts that need to be reviewed as part of the post-election review.
The Board of Estimate and Taxation.
So we'll be doing the Board of Estimate and Taxation, 2 seats for that. And we will be doing Park District 5-1 precinct, and we will be doing 5 precinct 6. So that completes our count of the precincts that we'll be drawing as part of the post-election review for this year. The details, including dates, times, and location for that post-election review, will be announced in the next few days. Notice will go out to the media and posted on our elections website. The event, the post-election review, is open to public observation. With that, Mr. Chair, we've concluded the business to come before the canvassing board this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. So the canvassing of the election returns is complete, and I believe Mr. Carl just took us through the specific precincts and races to be included in this year's post-election audit, and so thank you for that. And then it says here, Mr. Carl, that you'd like to make one final remark.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. The final remark is just, of course, as always, thanks to the thousands of election judges, seasonal workers, temporary employees, and especially our core team, without whom we would not be able to conduct elections, and also to the mayor and council for their support of elections. Around the nation, I am routinely asked how we're able to not only get such high voter turnout, but what we do in terms of engaging voters. And I routinely tell people it's because voting and elections of themselves are seen as a high priority by our community, and that's backed up by our policymakers, the elected officials who make sure to fund our outreach, our engagement, our education, and other initiatives that make sure that access to the ballot box is provided as broadly as possible across all of our communities that make up the city of Minneapolis. So my thanks to the mayor and council, my thanks to my team, to the extended team of the thousands of men and women who help us, and to the voters, of course, and then to all of our partners across the city. Conducting an election is not something that just the clerk's office is responsible for. Every single one of our departments contributes to that effect. And so we are deeply grateful for all of their help and partnership as well.
Yes, seconded. So thank you for that. And with that, seeing no further business to come before this board, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.